What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talking about episode 189, college news. Now, today's episode, we're just talking about college football because we got more coaching news to discuss. The CFP rankings and bracket is out, so we're going to react to that. And we got key matchups and picks leading up into week 11. So let's head straight into it. So yes, we're starting just on college football this week. I haven't been caught up with college hockey, so I need to get right back into that in order to talk about it more in depth. So just college football today. Starting off with some injury news. Florida's wide receiver Dallas Wilson will be out for the season with an ankle injury. Nebraska's quarterback Dylan Raiola out for the season with a broken fibula. And Louisville running back Isaac Brown will be out for the foreseeable future. Unclear on the details of what happened, but he did lead the game against Virginia Tech early. So that's unfortunate news for Louisville there. Coaching news. South Carolina fires offensive coordinator Mike Shula. Offense does not look good for South Carolina. I think high expectations was on everybody's radar with Sellers. Has not prospered into that at all. So offensive coordinator out. Auburn's fires the head coach Hugh Freeze. He went 15-19 at Auburn. No winning seasons. Not a good performance by Hugh Freeze there at Auburn. His team is actually, oddly enough, one of only 3 teams that have not given up more than 24 points in a game all season long. The other 2 teams are the top 2 teams in the nation. Ohio State, Indiana, Auburn. 3 teams without 24 or more points given up. Very surprising. And yet Auburn, they're 4-5. Yes, had they been pretty much messed up on a couple calls? Yeah, probably. I think there's a couple calls in a couple games that probably should have gone their way. Maybe a different outcome. But regardless, not a good performance from Auburn. Nebraska announced that they extended Matt Rule to 2 years on the contract with a $15 million buyout. Not surprised. I mean, I kind of thought Rule might be a big candidate for the Penn State job. Ends up not being the case. He is going to be sticking around Nebraska for a few more years. And lastly, Wisconsin announced head coach Luke Fickell will be returning in 2026, which is very surprising because Fickell and that Wisconsin team has not been very good ever since he's taken over. And I don't think Wisconsin is going to get any better with him there. So I would figure that they would want to cut ties, but announcing earlier today that he will be returning for the next season. Georgia Tech Haynes King has now become the most touchdowns in program history for Georgia Tech at 84. Had a rushing touchdown, which got him over the 83 mark. So congrats to you, Haynes King. It's just going to grow. I mean, we got, 3-4 more games for Georgia Tech on the season. So King's going to definitely take that one up. Can he hit 100? Probably unlikely, but I'm not going to put it out of proportion with him and his rushing abilities. Alabama suspends Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. from the team after being arrested over the weekend during the bye for reckless endangerment. Now, this is huge news just for the fact that there's what are you doing kind of thing news. But good on Alabama to kind of discipline him and say you're pretty much done as of right now. I don't expect Kirkpatrick to be back the rest of the year. All right, let's head into the score recaps from Week 10. We're starting off at Tulane, losing to UTSA 48-26. Playoff hopes are pretty much gone for Tulane now at this point. They really had to win out in order to get a chance to get in there. Now Tulane with 2 losses, one of them being to UTSA. Not a good loss for the Green Wave. Number 5, Georgia beat Florida 24-20. Number 8, Georgia Tech suffers their first loss to North Carolina State 48-36. Not a good game defensively from the Jackets there. Number 9, Vanderbilt lost. Number 20, Texas 34-31. Texas ended up having a very explosive offense in the beginning of that game, kind of slowed down near the end. Vanderbilt came back, had an onside kick, not recovered due to the fact that the ball just hit the out of bounds markers. Really had a great chance to get back in the game, just too big of a hole to get themselves out. Number 10, Miami lose again, this time to SMU in overtime, 26-20. Not a good performance from Carson Beck and the Hurricanes. Their season pretty much is over. Number 18, Oklahoma beat number 14, Tennessee, 33-27 on the road. Big win for the Sooners there. I'm really liking how they're performing the last couple of weeks. Number 15, Virginia beat Cal 31-21. That game is a lot closer than the scoreline. It was a pick six at the very end of the game, pretty much, to give them that win. But Cal kept it close with Virginia. Expect Cal to be that kind of team in the ACC that's gonna give teams some problems, and they got a pretty decent schedule for the rest of the week. Number 16, Louisville beat Virginia Tech 28-16, a good win by the Cardinal. Virginia Tech was winning that game. They looked pretty good. Second half, not at all. Number 17, Cincinnati lost to number 24, Utah, big time, 45-14. Utah looks really good. They could be one of the best Big 12 teams remaining in my eyes. Purdue lost to number 21, Michigan, but kept it very close, 21-16 performance there for the Wolverines. West Virginia beats an undefeated 22-ranked Houston, 45-35 on the road. Big win for the Mountaineers, and a really tough loss for Houston. And now that Big 12 title game is starting to get a bit wide open now. Two teams entering the week was Houston and Cincinnati, both undefeated in conference play, now both with the loss. So now we have a lot more teams with a loss. BYU is the only remaining team in conference play without a loss. What could happen in the next couple weeks? I think it's going to be mayhem, so keep an eye out on the Big 12. Duke beat Clemson 46-45. After this week, Duke is now the clear-cut favorite to win the ACC ahead of Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Virginia, based off of a couple of DraftKings, FanDuel kind of stuff. This is very surprising in my eyes, especially because looking ahead, Duke is not ranked, and they weren't ranked in the AP polls either. So for them to be the clear-cut favorites right now for the ACC just kind of seems a little bit far-fetched. I don't like them as my favorite. I still like Georgia Tech or Louisville. Virginia, I think, is fine, but I like Georgia Tech and Louisville over Duke. Again, all three of those teams are behind them. I would pick all three of those teams before I'd pick Duke to win the ACC. Army beat Air Force 20-17, a walk-off field goal for Army. And lastly, Arizona State beat Iowa State 24-19, a big win for the Sun Devils. Have no Sam Leonard for the rest of the year. Had no Jordan Tyson for at least that game, potentially the rest of the season now because of the injuries. Jeff Sims stepped up big time. He looked great in that game. Ends up having the best rushing performance by a quarterback in school history. Put up over 400 yards total. A couple touchdowns. A couple of mistakes that I definitely would like to see clean up, which was turnovers and a little bit of ball placement on the passes. But overall, I really can't complain. Jeff Sims looked very good in that game. Great job by the Sun Devils there. All right, let's head to the CFP rankings. We'll start off with the top 25. We'll start off 25-1. 25 was Tennessee, 24 was Pitt, 23 Washington, 22 Missouri, and 21 Michigan. 20 Iowa, 19 USC, 18 Miami, 17 Georgia Tech, 16 Vanderbilt. Number 15 Louisville, number 14 Virginia, number 13 Utah, number 12 Oklahoma, number 11 Texas, number 10 Notre Dame, number 9 Oregon, number 8, Texas Tech, number 7, BYU, number 6, Ole Miss, number 5, Georgia, number 4, Alabama, number 3, Texas A&M, number 2, Indiana, number 1, Ohio State. Now, with that being said, this is the official bracket now for the college football playoffs if they were to start right now. The byes would be going to Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, A&M at 3, and Alabama at 4. This is a little bit different than last year that they had the conference champions getting all byes. This time it will be the top 4 teams regardless of conference getting the bye. So those are your top 4 teams. The matchups, though, the first round would be number 12 Memphis versus number 5 Georgia. Memphis being the highest ranked group of 5 school, even though they are not in the rankings. We have only Power 4 teams in the rankings this week. That could change based off of what Memphis has to do this upcoming week. But as of right now, Memphis, unranked, highest remaining group of 5 school. They take the 12 seed. Number 9, Oregon versus Texas Tech at the 8 seed. Not a bad matchup there. Number 11, Virginia versus number 6, Ole Miss. Virginia being the highest ranked ACC team. Just for the fact of them being the highest, they expect them to win the ACC, quote unquote, there. So Virginia getting that spot there. Number 10 would be Notre Dame versus number 7, BYU. That'd be an interesting matchup just to see Notre Dame going into BYU to win that one. And the first two teams to be out of the playoffs would be Texas from 11 and Oklahoma from 12. So that would be interesting to see what would happen going into the last couple of weeks, because Texas had to play A&M. That could be a big game for Texas. Oklahoma just has to pretty much win out and give the committee at least a hard enough time to pick them or to not pick them over a couple other teams. So I think all teams right now in the top 15 really kind of control their own destiny. Yeah, they need some help from other teams. But for the most part, I think the top 10, you're definitely in if you win the rest of the year, the year out, regardless of 1-2 with Ohio State, Louisville, or regardless of Ohio State and Indiana. I know they're going to have to face each other at the end of the year, whether they're undefeated going into the conference championship game or not. I think they're still going to be in it. Even with one loss for one of those teams, I still think they're going to make playoffs. They just might not be a bye team if they lose 2 games going into the playoffs. But overall, the rankings, I'm not opposed to any of it. Would I have put a couple of teams here above there? Yeah, probably. But for the most part, this is probably the most accurate ranking to what I agree with. For the most part, I'm okay with it. So we'll move on, though. We'll move on to underdog picks. Last week, we had Keenan on, and he made his pick, Mississippi State, at a 4.5-point underdog against Arkansas, and they ended up winning that one. 4.5-point favorite was Arkansas. They lose 38-35. So Keenan would get 9.5 points added to his total for underdog picks. Great job, Keenan. If he comes back on, we'll add on to that total. But 9.5 to start off. He's 1-0 with an outright win. For me, I had Navy at a plus 6.5 against North Texas. They ended up losing 31-17. So their first loss of the year. So not a good performance by them. My total stays put at 24. For the upcoming week now, I have number 9 Oregon versus number 20 Iowa beating my game for the underdog picks, and Iowa's at a plus 6.5. So I'm going to take plus 6.5 with Iowa home game for the Hawkeyes. They're usually pretty solid at home. Games are always pretty close. Oregon hasn't looked all that great, in my opinion, the last few weeks. They've kind of been slushy of an offense. Did not put up a lot of points against Wisconsin. I think Iowa's defense is going to keep it close. I don't know if they're going to actually win this game, but I think it's going to keep it close. Plus 6.5, Iowa. All right, let's head to some of the top games of the weekend. We got 8 here, and we got my picks. So we'll start off with Tulane versus Memphis. That's on Friday at 6. I got Memphis winning this one. They have to win. I think the Tigers get it done. Northwestern versus number 19 USC. That's at 6 on Friday. I'm going to also go with USC on this one. I think USC needs to keep winning. I don't think Northwestern is going to be too much of a problem. Friday night game's kind of tough, but I think USC gets the job done. Number 2, Indiana versus Penn State. This is Indiana's last competitive game. That's the reason why it's on the schedule. Indiana's going to win comfortably, but it's their last competitive game, so keep an eye out on that. Number 7, BYU versus number 8, Texas Tech. The game of the week in my eyes for sure. College game day will be there. It'll be a 9 a.m. on Saturday, kickoff time. I'm going Texas Tech. I think just because of the home team, I've got to go Texas Tech, and for the hopes that Arizona State makes the championship game, which again, not very likely, doesn't seem very good. They have to root for Texas Tech to win this game. So I'm going to root for Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is going to get it done. Also, I just do not like BYU that much. Would prefer a different team to represent the conference. So I think Texas Tech gets the job done. Number 3, Texas A&M versus number 22, Missouri. I'm going A&M. I think A&M is just better. I don't think Missouri is really a top 25 school anymore, especially with the loss of their quarterback. Number 9, Oregon versus number 20, Iowa. We already talked about this. This is my underdog pick, but I think Oregon gets the job done. Cal versus number 15, Louisville. Cal is going to keep it close, but Louisville will get it done. Louisville Cardinals get the win there. Navy versus number 10, Notre Dame. Navy has to win this game. They got the loss last week. They had to win out the season in order to even be potentially relative to the group of 5 mentioned and the American Conference. I think Notre Dame probably wins this game, but I think because Navy knows they need to win this game's going to be a fun, close game. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. Notre Dame's my official pick, but Navy keeping it close. All right, guys, that will do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. 189 episodes in the books. It's a quick one. Did not have a lot to comment outside of college football. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, the bell icon so you guys are notified when episodes like this drop. If you guys like jerseys, new jerseys, and reacting to jerseys, we have a new episode that came out yesterday on the new Adidas World Cup jerseys. We have ratings and tier lists for that. So if you guys want, go check that out now. It is live on the channel, episode 188, only on the YouTube, just because it's easier to watch on YouTube than listen to on the podcast versions of that. But we appreciate you guys so much. Have an awesome rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys later.